Oh my.
My purpose is to restore the rightful line to the Iron Throne.
It is the will of the gods.
Sunfire is alive. Let that sink in for a second. Because Baela said that dragon was dead, the Blacks celebrated it. Rhaenyra moved on from it. And somewhere between that declaration and this trailer, a golden dragon has apparently been lying completely still in the ruins of Rook's Rest, eating whatever unlucky scavengers wandered too close to Melee's rotting carcass, and waiting, just waiting, for Aegon to come back. And now Aegon is back. The milk of the poppy is wearing off. His mind is clearing, and he just found out his dragon is alive. A Targaryen with a living dragon feels like a god, and the Blacks just lost one of their biggest strategic assumptions in a single trailer shot. The House of the Dragon Season 3 Episode 4 preview just dropped, and it is genuinely packed in a way that rewards multiple rewatches. We have King's Landing going completely broke. We have a hostage situation that has effectively neutralized Rhaenyra's entire dragon advantage without a single flame being thrown. We have Alys Rivers hiding Aemond directly underneath Criston Cole's nose at Harrenhal, while playing innocent with the energy of someone who has already won and is just enjoying the game. And we have Hugh Hammer's wife trapped inside Tumbleton, which means Rhaenyra's most powerful new dragon rider just became a massive liability instead of an asset. There is a lot happening here, so let's go frame by frame and pull every thread. The trailer opens inside Rhaenyra's small council chambers, and if you pay attention to the composition of the room, things have shifted considerably. Mysaria has fully stepped into her role as Mistress of Whisperers, which is a position she was always operating in informally, but now holds with official weight. Orwyle is present as her maester, and the Queen's Guard surrounding her is new, apparently handpicked by Daemon, obsessively focused on her protection in a way that reads less like military protocol and more like Daemon responding to the very real possibility that someone inside those walls is going to try to put a knife in her before the war is over. But none of that matters right now, because Rhaenyra has a problem that no amount of dragonfire can solve. King's Landing is broke. The gold is gone. Nobody seems to know exactly where it went or who moved it. And without coin, the gold cloaks don't get paid. Daemon makes the implication very plain. Unpaid city watchmen are not watching it anymore. They're an angry armed faction waiting for whoever offers them a better deal. The social contract holding King's Landing together is hanging by the thinnest possible thread. Mysaria's solution to this is brilliant and ruthless in equal measure, which is exactly how Mysaria operates. Appoint a new master of coin whose primary function is to absorb blame. When the food runs short and the small folk start rioting, and they will, they won't come for the queen. They'll come for the new guy who is visibly in charge of the money. It's political misdirection dressed up as governance, and it's genuinely clever. The man being slotted into this extremely dangerous position appears to be Torrhen Manderly, reportedly played by Dan Fogler, hailing from White Harbor. He presents as supportive of Rhaenyra's claim. He also gives off the energy of someone who finds this entire situation deeply entertaining. There's something in how he's framed that suggests a man who is walking into a catastrophe with his eyes completely open and has decided the chaos is worth the seat at the table. Whether his loyalty is genuine or he's playing a longer game is the kind of question this show lives to leave unanswered until it detonates. Now let's get to Tumbleton, because this is the strategic masterstroke that the trailer is built around, and it deserves the time to fully unpack why it's so devious. Ormund Hightower and the Green Army have seized the town. If you know your Westerosi geography, Tumbleton is a fortified market town ruled by Lord Footley, dangerously close to King's Landing, which is alarming enough on its own. But the choice of Tumbleton specifically is not random. It's a trap, and it was designed to work on Rhaenyra in the most specific way possible. The streets are incredibly narrow, densely packed civilian population, the kind of urban layout where a conventional military assault becomes an absolute nightmare. Your archers can't see their targets, your cavalry can't maneuver, and every alley is a potential ambush point. More importantly, And this is where Ormund's tactical thinking becomes genuinely impressive. Dragons are essentially useless here. Not because they can't reach the green soldiers, but because reaching the green soldiers means burning the small folk alive alongside them. And Tumbleton previously flew Rhaenyra's banner. These are her people. Burning them to retake the town would be a political catastrophe that would ripple across every house in Westeros that hasn't fully committed to either side yet. Ormund dares her to do it. He's essentially said, use your dragons here and you prove every green propaganda point about the Mad King's granddaughter. Don't use them, and his army sits inside your doorstep without cost. He has neutralized Rhaenyra's most significant military advantage, without losing a single soldier in a real engagement. And the look of it in the trailer tells you Rhaenyra understands exactly what just happened. Her ground forces are days or weeks out. The armies Daemon ordered to march aren't there yet. She has no infantry to retake the town conventionally. She's stuck. And Ormund knows she's stuck. Which makes the Hugh Hammer development the most emotionally complicated thread in this entire trailer. Because there's a blink and you miss it shot of Hugh's wife and her brother inside the walls of Tumbleton. You might remember that throwaway detail when Hugh was pressuring Rhaenyra about payment and a house on Visenya's hill. He mentioned his wife was in that area, treating it as a minor logistical matter he'd sort out later. Later has arrived, and it is a disaster. We see the massive shadow of Vermithor passing over the occupied city, Hugh Hammer in the saddle, the Bronze Fury's wingspan terrifying the green troops below. And none of it matters, because Hugh cannot act. If Ormund Hightower identifies that woman inside his walls and understands what she means to Rhaenyra's most powerful new dragon rider, he doesn't just have a hostage. He has leverage that could rewrite the outcome of this entire war. The Dragonseeds are Rhaenyra's great equalizer. They took dragons that had been wild for years, untamable, and bonded with them in a matter of weeks. Vermithor alone changes the military calculus completely. If Ormund can turn Hugh, or even just neutralize him by threatening his wife, the Blacks lose that edge instantly. The groundwork being laid here for betrayal is undeniable. Hugh has always been a man with a grievance, a man who feels like his service is being undervalued. He wanted gold and a title and security for his family. The war gave him a dragon instead. But now his family is directly in danger because of the side he chose. Watch how this develops, because the show is not building this detail to let it sit quietly in the background. Let's go to Rook's Rest, because the visual of it alone is one of the most striking images in the entire preview. The keep is still destroyed, and resting across what remains of the castle is the massive, decaying carcass of Meleys, Rhaenys's dragon, the Red Queen. She is so impossibly large that nobody has moved her, and given the state of King's Landing's resources, nobody probably can. Decay is slow for creatures that size, which raises a question the show doesn't fully answer in the trailer, but clearly wants you to sit with. Are the starving locals carving up the dragon for meat? Under normal circumstances in this world, that would be treated as near blasphemy. The Targaryens have always treated their dragons as sacred, almost divine creatures. Eating one would carry enormous symbolic and political weight. But starvation has a way of making symbolism feel like a luxury. For readers of the extended Westerosi lore, there are heavy thematic parallels here to the weight of dragon death, explored in the Tales of Dunk and Egg novellas. The idea that when dragons die, they don't just end. They leave behind something that changes the landscape around them permanently. Aegon and Larys arrive at Rook's Rest in this trailer, and the situation they walk into immediately gets complicated. The garrison Criston Cole left behind has grown unpredictable. There's a tense moment where a soldier aggressively confronts Aegon, apparently mistaking them for riverfolk, who are clearly despised in this area for reasons the scene doesn't fully explain, but suggests have been building for some time. Larys characteristically is standing slightly to the side, looking like a man who has already calculated 6 possible outcomes of this confrontation and is simply waiting to see which one manifests. But the real revelation at Rook's Rest is Sunfire. The trailer heavily implies that Aegon finds his dragon alive, and the implication of how Sunfire survived is quietly horrifying in the best possible way. He was playing dead, lying still enough, for long enough, that Baela believed he was gone, And in the meantime, he's apparently been sustaining himself on whatever wandered too close to Melee's carcass. A golden dragon, patient and wounded, feeding in the shadow of the Red Queen's remains. It's such a specific kind of survival that it almost feels like the show is quietly telling you something about Aegon through the behavior of his dragon. Sunfire didn't rage, didn't thrash, just waited. For Aegon, this is everything. The milk of the poppy haze is lifting. His mind is coming back to him, and suddenly, unexpectedly, he has his dragon. The trajectory of his arc this season has been a man stripped of everything. His throne, his health, his family's trust, his sense of purpose. Finding Sunfire alive is the first thing that's gone right for him in a very long time. And a Targaryen who feels like a god is a Targaryen who starts making decisions. Watch how quickly that renewed purpose becomes dangerous. Meanwhile at Harrenhal, the situation is a masterclass in dramatic irony. Criston Cole, Gwaine Hightower, and their entire retinue have arrived searching for Aemond and Vhagar. They are greeted by Alys Rivers in a new outfit with a pendant nobody can quite identify yet. Drop your theories on that in the comments because the internet is already losing its mind over it. She plays the overwhelmed Castellan, projecting harmlessness and vague confusion about how to manage all these soldiers showing up at her door. Alys Rivers playing innocent is one of the more entertaining things the show has produced. Because if you understand what Alys Rivers is, and the show has been giving us those breadcrumbs steadily, Criston Cole walking into Harrenhal is not the Greens gaining the advantage. It is Alys gaining a new chess piece to play with. She is hiding Aemond somewhere in that castle, apparently in the same weirwood bedchamber we've glimpsed in previous episodes, and she is doing it right under their noses. There's a quick shot of Vhagar flying over Harrenhal that the trailer's editing tries to disguise as being somewhere else, but it confirms the dragon is still in the vicinity. The Green's most lethal rider and his most terrifying dragon are both at Harrenhal, and Alys is the only one who knows. Criston Cole thinks he's hunting. He's not hunting. He walked into something and he doesn't know it yet. The Daemon storyline developing in the Vale is rich with the specific kind of family dysfunction this show has always excelled at. He's being sent to beg Lady Arryn for gold to fix the financial crisis consuming King's Landing, which is already a humiliating errand for a man of Daemon's pride. But what's going to matter more than the money is what he finds when he gets there. Daemon hasn't spoken to his daughters Baela and Rhaena in what feels like years of narrative time. He has no idea what Rhaena has been doing. He assumes his younger sons are safely on a ship heading east. He is wrong about all of it. And the Vale visit is apparently where he starts getting corrected on the state of his own family. Sheepstealer has been causing chaos in the region, a wild dragon whose rider situation is complicated and potentially deeply personal to the Daemon family in ways the trailer is only hinting at. The theme of absentee parenting has been woven through this entire season with unusual consistency. And Daemon is being set up for a confrontation with the consequences of years of choosing the war and the throne over the people who actually needed him. That reckoning, whenever it arrives in full, is going to be one of the season's most emotionally layered moments. The trailer also finally addresses the Daeron situation in a way that clears up a genuine source of confusion from recent episodes. Ormund Hightower is shown walking with Jon Roxton, speaking with passionate conviction about a holy mission to restore the rightful line to the Iron Throne. The interesting detail here is that Ormund's investment isn't actually ideological in the way he presents it. He doesn't specifically need Aegon or Daeron on the throne. What he needs is a Targaryen he can control. He is his father's son in that regard. Otto Hightower spent his life engineering malleable kings. Ormund is continuing the project. The actual Daeron, it becomes clear, is at Tumbleton with his dragon Tessarion. The Blue Queen is with the Green Army, which explains a piece of the puzzle that had been genuinely confusing around the fake Daeron situation at the Red Keep. Daemon apparently believed the imposter was the real thing, but understood that without the Dragon Keepers, the boy couldn't control Tessarion. He left the dragon assuming it would be grounded, and assumed Rhaenyra was going to execute the fake Daeron anyway to eliminate his claim. The logic holds when you lay it out, but it required the trailer to give us the pieces to assemble it. What episode 4 is clearly constructing is a pressure system with too many variables for anyone to fully control. Rhaenyra is financially stranded and militarily boxed in at Tumbleton. Aegon has a living dragon and a dangerous new sense of purpose. Hugh Hammer is one discovery away from becoming Rhaenyra's biggest problem instead of her biggest weapon. Alys Rivers has the Green Army at Harrenhal and is the only one who knows what she's holding. And Daemon is about to find out how much of his family he's actually lost while he was busy trying to win the war. Every piece is under pressure, and this show has never been interested in relieving pressure slowly. It accumulates and then releases all at once, and the next episode is clearly positioned as one of those releases. So here's what I want to know from you. Is Hugh Hammer going to betray Rhaenyra to save his wife, or does he find another way through this? And that pendant Alys Rivers is wearing, what do you think it is? Because the show chose to linger on it for a specific reason, and I want to hear every theory you have. Drop everything in the comments. Let's figure this out before Sunday.